What up, Ninja Empire? Welcome to another character design speed paint where I create one of the characters in Ninja Empire and I just talk to you about maybe their history or how they were designed. Normally they're Patreon character designs, and sometimes they're just, I need to do something for YouTube. So this one particularly is not a Patreon character design. It is a character that I had scribbled down in my sketchbook and thought that the design was simple enough and yet interesting enough to where I could go ahead and do it. So over on Twitch, I went ahead and did this design, and I really like the idea of this character because even on Twitch someone mentioned, it's like, oh, this guy kind of looks like a cultist, you know, like he could be part of a cult. And I was like, oh man, it would look really cool if you saw like just this looming army of these characters with these hoods and stuff like that coming down, you know, the street, talking whatever, and then this guy would be their fighter, you know, or one of their fighters. Like, you know how they generally have like one person who is the fighter. That's why he walks around with the big, you know, big blades on his arms. And I have his arms wrapped up because I think that he is like genetically engineered so that these blades are actually attached to his forearms, so they, you know, it doesn't have to be a separate weapon. Like, that's who he is. His belief in his culture, you know, in his belief is so strong that he went ahead, and when they're like, you're gonna be our fighter, that he went ahead and augmented his entire body in order to make that happen. And this character, when I was creating him, had like no backstory whatsoever. And on Twitch, when the viewer was like, oh, he should be a cult, and I was like, great, cult, I have no idea, you know, what to call them or something like that. And so he had mentioned, you know, what about the Brotherhood of the Eclipse? And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. I'm like, I like that, the Brotherhood of the Eclipse, you know, that would be pretty fun. And then thinking that they worship, you know, the eclipse. So when the eclipse happens, that's when they decide that certain things have to happen. You know, like this is when they elect their new leader, or this is when they go and take over new territory, or, you know, this is when they have to sacrifice to the god of the moon and the sun, or depending on what kind of eclipse, because there are two moons on the planet that the Ninja Empire takes place on. So maybe when the moon and the moon overlap each other, right? And then there's a lunar eclipse, I guess, I don't know, you know, when there's two moons eclipsing themselves, or a solar eclipse, so there's the sun and the moon. And so I thought that was a really cool idea, that you can have something that has a belief based on the moon. Not necessarily that they would get any type of power from it, but they believe their belief and their movement is all about the moon. So with this character, as I mentioned earlier, he is a fighter, no name, as usual. So once again, if you think you have a good name for this character, please drop it in the comments so I can see it. I absolutely stink at names, so please help me out. Also, if you don't want to put it in YouTube, you can go over to my Discord. I'll make sure to drop a link in the description so that you can actually comment and follow and talk to us about ninjas on Discord. But I figured this fighter, because of his blades, the way he would fight, it would be mostly in a, you know, twirling motion. So I figured it'd be really cool if this character used a form of capoeira, to where he could, you know, spin around on his feet and hands, and he's just spinning around. These big blades are just going everywhere, you know. And then I started thinking about the video game and seeing how he would actually move, and I thought of, you know, M. Bison's twirl attack. And I thought, oh, that would be really cool, you know, if you had it, because the blades would create this twisting motion and stuff like that. So it'd be like a corkscrew coming straight at you. But I figured he would be more of a quicker character, and he's longer. This character's longer and he's thinner. And so I wanted to make sure that that kind of, or hopefully came across, that he's a thinner character, to where he would make these movements almost look effortless. And, you know, he's spinning around and flying and doing all that kind of stuff. I don't see this character talking at all. You know, you don't see his face, so it's actually unimportant who he is. And for me, I think that's really cool, because then within this brotherhood, this position is passed down from person to person, right? There would never be a time where it was like, oh, well, this person is awesome, you know, and we remember him as this fighter. It's always, remember when this fighter, at this time, there was a time of year where he was great, you know, or we thought he was dead, but yet here he is again. You know, so I think that it would be really nice to just be able to have this position and these, you know, implant arms and stuff like that to be passed down from fighter to fighter. So even if someone is killed, you know, they can, the cult leaders can actually come in and do this augmentation to another person and then have them come in, and they might fight completely different, which would be an interesting concept for, you know, if there were later versions of the game where you would see this character and you recognize the shapes and the shape language of this character, but then he's really big, you know, or then he's really small or squat, you know, and you could really change that up, and then there would be different fighting styles and stuff like that. So I think that would be pretty interesting as well. But as you can see, there's not a lot of backstory to this character because it was just a random idea, but I think that it was cool. And if you think that I should continue with this character, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know. It's like, hey, develop a backstory for this guy. I think it'd be really cool, and I will go ahead and do that, and it will not be an issue whatsoever, because I do want to make sure that we take all these characters and make rich stories and stuff like that, and I'll put it up on a website or on the Discord, and we'll go from there. Okay? So please drop me a comment, give me a thumbs up if you think this character should be elaborated on, and we will go from there. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, remember, born a ninja, die a ninja. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't yet, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to support the Ninja Empire, please consider going over to my Patreon page. And if you'd like to see more of my content, please click on any of the videos that you see. Also, if you'd like to see a more behind-the-scenes look at what I do on a daily basis, please head on over to my vlog channel. Thank you very much, and we'll see you at the next video.